You've probably heard the term SaaS, or software as a service. Well, right now, it's basically the new gold rush. But the real challenge isn't just coming up with a flashy idea. It's finding one that people will actually pay for. So today, we're going to break down 5 highly profitable AI SaaS ideas for 2026, and they're all built on one really simple premise.
And that right there, that's the secret sauce. The most successful software doesn't have to be some kind of revolutionary science fiction. Nope, it just needs to solve a tedious, repetitive, or just plain annoying problem that's getting in somebody's way. It's all about creating convenience. And let's be honest, people will always pay for convenience.
And look, the opportunity here, it's just massive. The global SaaS market is projected to hit a staggering $375 billion by 2026. This isn't just some big number on a slide. It represents billions of dollars from businesses and regular people who are actively looking for tools to solve their most boring problems. So, how do we find our slice of that pie? Well, we're going to dive into a few ideas that do exactly that. Each one tackles a modern pain point, starts with a simple shippable product, and targets a real need that people are already desperate to solve.
All right, first up, let's talk about a problem that I'm guessing a lot of you know very well. If you're a founder or you've ever worked with one, you know the drill. Everyone agrees content is crucial, blogs, LinkedIn posts, company updates, and yet it's always the first thing that gets pushed to the back burner.
And it's not like people think it's useless, right? It's because writing takes a ton of time, a ton of focus, and a ton of energy. It's that classic task that keeps getting pushed to later, until later just never shows up. Founders are slammed, and any tool that can consistently save them 5 or 10 hours a week is something they will absolutely open their wallets for.
So, here's the key, and this is super important. You have to keep that first version intentionally small and focused. The core product, the MVP, only needs to do 3 things to be valuable. A user enters a topic, it spits out a full draft, and they can look at all their old posts. That's it. It turns an idea into content fast with 0 friction.
And you want your pricing to be just as simple and logical. A free plan lets people get in there and feel the magic for themselves. Then, as their content needs start to grow, upgrading to a paid plan becomes a total no-brainer, not some hard sell. The whole thing just scales right along with their success.
Okay, idea number 2, an AI companion app. Now hold on, before you roll your eyes, just hear me out on this one. This is not about replacing human connection. It's about giving people a private, safe space for daily support and reflection. Look, this taps into something really fundamental about being human. People want something that will just listen at 2 a.m. with 0 judgment. That's not a niche problem, that is a massive one. The market for this kind of thing is on track to hit nearly $50 billion by 2026, which tells you it's way beyond just being a novelty.
And again, what's the theme here? Simplicity is everything. The first version only needs 4 key pieces: a quick onboarding to see what the user wants, a daily check-in, a chat screen, and a journal history. That's more than enough to deliver real value without getting bogged down in features. Remember, it's a supportive tool, not a therapist.
And the way you price this is a perfect example of a simple freemium model. The free plan gives users the core benefit, unlimited chat with 1 companion. The paid plan simply unlocks more personalization options. It's a super clear, straightforward path to making money.
Okay, let's switch gears to a high-value B2B idea. If you've ever seen a doctor or a therapist after a long day of seeing patients, you know their work isn't done. They are staring down a mountain of paperwork, typing, clicking, and formatting the exact same information over and over again. It's a massive cause of burnout. And the market numbers totally back this up, climbing fast towards $5 billion. But more importantly, solving this problem isn't some nice-to-have luxury. For hospitals and clinics dealing with high burnout rates, any tool that saves their clinicians time is a budgeted, absolutely essential expense.
So, for your MVP, your first version, the name of the game is focus. It just needs to do 3 things really well. Let a user pick a template, enter the visit details in a simple form, and then generate a clean, formatted note they can use. And I have to say this, it is so important. Always build and demo a tool like this with fake sample data first. Compliance is a huge hurdle you deal with later, not an afterthought.
Pricing for something like this is pretty straightforward. It fits that classic seat-based model perfectly. You can charge per clinician, per clinic, or even per department. This kind of structure is flexible, it's scalable, and frankly, it's something the B2B market already knows and understands.
Okay, so we've got these awesome ideas, but how do you actually build them? Especially if you're not a coder, right? Well, the good news is you might not have to. Modern AI-powered no-code builders have made it possible to turn a detailed description into a real working application.
The whole process really just breaks down into a simple 4-step loop. First, you write a really clear, detailed prompt, not just a sentence, but a whole blueprint of what you want. Then the AI generates the app for you. Next, you test everything, click all the buttons, try to break it. And finally, you iterate and improve by just sending more prompts. It's literally like you're having a conversation with a builder to fine-tune your app.
And this whole approach, this entire loop, it's all built on one single, really powerful philosophy. It is not about building the most complex, feature-perfect, flawless product on day one. It's about closing that massive gap between having an idea and having a real product. The goal is to get something useful into people's hands as fast as humanly possible, just to see if the idea has legs.
So there you have it. We've walked through the market, the ideas, the features, and even how you could build this stuff. These aren't just fuzzy concepts. They are actionable blueprints for real products that can make you money by solving tangible problems. The tools are out there, and the opportunities are too.
And you know, that brings us right back to where we started. The biggest opportunities aren't always the flashiest ones. They're often hiding in plain sight, buried in the tedious tasks and the repetitive work that everyone just wishes would disappear. So the final question is, what boring work will you choose to kill?
All right, so if you're running a professional services firm, accounting, law, IT services, you're probably thinking a lot about how AI is going to change your world. Well, today we're going to break down a playbook that turns that AI threat into your single biggest opportunity, building a profitable micro SaaS business. And what's that? It's basically a small, super focused software product that solves one specific problem for the clients you already have. Let's get right into it. So here's the big question on everyone's mind. Can a business that's built on billable hours and, human expertise, can it really succeed in the software world? I mean, they feel like completely different universes, don't they? Well, the answer is a huge, resounding yes. And what's so fascinating about this is that your single greatest advantage, it isn't something you need to go out and build or buy or hire for. It's an asset you are literally sitting on right now, probably without even realizing its full value. Okay, so this is where we completely flip the script. Instead of being afraid that AI is going to replace you, you're actually going to be the one to leverage it. And your secret weapon? It's the unique data your firm generates every single day. That is the one thing a pure software startup can never, ever replicate. So what do we mean by a unique data asset? Well, think about it. It's the collection of all those P&L statements you manage, all the contracts you review, the IT workflows you've mapped out for clients. It's all that institutional knowledge that's just baked right into your business. This proprietary data, it's the fuel for really specific, high-value AI tool that only you can build. All right, so that's the theory, but what does this actually look like in the real world? We're about to run through 5 concrete examples of profitable SaaS ideas, and as we go through them, see if you can spot the pattern that ties them all together. And here is that pattern, that winning formula in its simplest form. It's your specific industry expertise plus your unique data, and that equals your unique micro SaaS product. It's a really simple, repeatable framework that works no matter what kind of services you provide. Okay, first up, accounting firms. Your unique data asset is that absolute gold mine of client P&L statements. So imagine offering a virtual CFO tool. For, say, an extra $500 a month, your clients get a 24/7 AI agent that analyzes their finances, answers their questions, and generates monthly insight reports. This completely elevates the conversation you have with them from just bookkeeping to real, high-level strategy. Now let's talk about law firms. You have troves and troves of client contracts. So your micro SaaS idea could be an AI contract audit. For a fixed monthly fee, an AI tool continuously scans all their existing and new contracts for any hidden risks or liabilities. This moves you from just a transactional, call-me-when-you-need-me relationship to being a true strategic partner, constantly protecting your client's interests behind the scenes. Okay, if you're in IT services, your secret weapon is your deep, intimate knowledge of your clients' workflows and all their systems. You can package this expertise into an AI automation planner. So this tool would analyze their processes and then generate a strategic roadmap, showing them exactly where AI can save them money and time. You essentially become their indispensable AI co-pilot. In marketing agencies, you are sitting on a mountain of ad spend and ROI data. Your clients are always asking that one big question: how much should we spend? So imagine giving them an AI budgeting tool, an interactive dashboard where they can literally slide a budget up and down and see the projected ROI change in real time. It takes all the guesswork out of their biggest, most important decision. And finally, let's look at recruiting firms. Think about it. You have all the data on who got hired, who was let go, who succeeded, and who failed in a role. You can feed all of that into an AI tool to build a dynamic, ideal candidate profile. This tool helps your clients refine their job descriptions and their interview process to find better fits, which reduces turnover and makes you an even more valuable partner. So we've seen the what, 5 really cool, practical ideas. But now let's get to the why. What's the actual business payoff here? Well, it really comes down to 4 huge wins for your firm. First off, higher margins. You're adding recurring software revenue without having to add more billable hours. Second, insane client stickiness. I mean, once they're using your tool every single day, they are not going anywhere. Third, you future-proof your business. You stop worrying about AI replacing you, and you become the one providing the AI. And finally, and this is so crucial, it creates a stronger flywheel for your core services. This makes your main business better. It doesn't try to replace it. Okay, this all probably sounds great, but how do you actually start? The good news is there's a really simple, low-risk way to get this off the ground. You do not need a huge team of engineers or a massive budget to begin. There are 4 key steps, and let me tell you, the order here is non-negotiable. Step 1, just define your value proposition. Get it down to 1 clear sentence. Step 2, test that sentence with your existing clients. Just ask them, hey, would you pay for this? Step 3, only after you get a clear yes do you even think about prototyping a solution. And step 4, you market it first to your warm customer base. No cold calls needed. Look, if you remember just one thing from this entire explainer, please make it this. Do not build anything. Do not write a single line of code. The biggest mistake you can possibly make is jumping straight to development. Your first step is simply a conversation with a client. Test the idea, test the value, and test the price point before you even think about spending a single dollar building it.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this question to really think about. Take a hard look at your own business. What is the unique data asset that only you have access to? And what's the most valuable, nagging client problem that data could help solve? Because the answer to that question, well, that could be the beginning of your next most profitable venture.